Hi boys and girls, we're going to be starting a new unit. We're done with recorder for a while. We're going to be starting to learn to play the ukulele. Now the ukulele and the guitar are both really similar. Really the only difference is that guitar has 6 strings and ukulele has 4 strings. And we're going to be learning how to read chord charts. And once you know how to read a chord chart for ukulele, you can easily learn to play a chord chart for guitar. Now a chord is a little bit different than what we've been playing on recorder. So far in recorder we've only been playing one note at a time, where a chord is at least 3 notes at the same time. So I have my keyboard here in front of me. Here's a C note and a C chord, sounds like this. So we have 3 notes at the same time. Piano, guitar, they both play chords a lot in lots of different music. So once you learn a couple chords, you can play tons of songs. All right, here's what guitar chords look like. You can see there are 6 strings and there's dots showing you where to put your finger. This is what a ukulele chord chart will look like. Kind of like this one. This one has 4 strings and they show you where to put your fingers. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. First off, in your chord chart, the vertical lines are your strings. So we have 4 strings there, and then the horizontal lines are called frets. So here's what they look like on the ukulele. So you would think, since you play it like this, that they would write the chord chart this way, but they don't. You have to imagine that your ukulele is standing up straight. So here are your 4 strings. The lowest one is to the left, and then they get higher. So there's your 4 strings. The horizontal lines that we talked about are the frets. They're these pieces of metal, and whenever you play a chord, you have to make sure that you're pressing the string down all the way to touch the fret, and that's what changes the pitch. All right? So here's our first chord. First chord is a C chord. Here's our first string, second string, third, and fourth. The 1 here means we're going to use our first finger. Okay? First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. We're only going to use 1 and 2. So we need our first finger on the 3rd string this is the plastic white piece that I'll show you, and this is our first fret. First finger between the top of the ukulele and our first fret, 3rd string. Okay? Here's what that looks like. So here's that white piece that I was talking about. So first finger, 1, 2, 3, 3rd string down between the white piece and that first fret. Okay, so it changes the sound from this to this. So you want to make sure that your finger is touching all the way down so that the string is touching that fret. Okay, so there's your first finger. Now for our second finger, it needs to be on our top string, that's our lowest sounding string, between the 1st and 2nd fret there. So here's what that looks like. So we have our second finger between our 1st and 2nd fret on the top string. So you put those 2 together, and there's our first chord. That's our C chord. All right, for this activity for today, you guys are going to be with a partner. And when it's not your turn to play, I want you to be looking at your partner's fingers, make sure they're on the right spot, on the right string, on the right fret, really help each other out. So once you've found your partner, you can get a book that's on the edge of the keyboard and one of the ukuleles for you and your partner. So 1 ukulele, 2 people. And then you can come back and we'll get started. All right, now that you have your ukuleles, we're just going to play 1 string at a time. So you always want to play the fretboard with your left hand. Even if you're a left-handed person, if you try to switch it around, now your lowest string is on the bottom instead of the top. So definitely play with your left hand on the fretboard. All right, I want you guys to take turns, practice playing your lowest string just by itself, and then your next string down, and the 3rd string, and the 4th string. And then I want you to practice strumming. All right, you just need to glide your thumb really gently along all 4 strings at the same time. Not too hard. If you strum too hard, then it ends up, the strings end up hitting some of the frets and it doesn't sound good. So practice strumming a few times and then pass it to your partner. You can hit pause and come back. All right, now that you and your partner have had a chance to play a couple of those strings, I want you to now practice your C chord. So let's get our first finger ready to go first. We have our first finger between the white piece and the fret on the 1, 2, 3rd string down. Just play that one string and make sure that it sounds like this. You should hear that note. Okay, now take your second finger between the 1st and 2nd fret on the top string. It should sound like that. Okay, so now we have our C chord. Play all of the notes separately. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, a mistake that a lot of people make is they play with a flat finger rather than with the tips of their fingers, and what that ends up doing is muting the string. You don't want that sound, so make sure you get your fingers up using the tips of your fingers, not the flat part of your fingers. Okay? So go ahead and practice your C chord a couple of times and then pass it to your partner. You can hit pause and come back when you're ready. All right, now that you've both had a chance to play the C chord, we're going to be looking on page 6 and 7 in your ukulele book, so you can go ahead and get those out. Now, every time you strum the ukulele, there's this slash mark. So if you're looking on page 7, we have a line with a 4/4 time signature. I'll show you. This line right here on page 7. C chords all the way across, and we have 4 groups of 4. So we're going to play 16 times altogether. Okay, so get your C chord ready. All right, I'll hold it up so you can see. Here we go. 16 times. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. All right, so that's 16 times 4 measures of 4. Now, if you look at the next line down, we're in 3/4. So we're going to have 3 groups, or we're going to have 4 groups of 3 beats. So we're going to play 12 times altogether. Get your C chord ready. Here we go. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Stop. All right, the last line is 2 beats. I don't think we've ever played one of these songs in recorder, but you can probably easily figure it out. We have 2 beats in 4 measures of 2 beats, so we're going to play 8 times altogether. Here we go. Ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? You can go ahead and back this video up, pass it to your partner, and you can redo that whole page altogether. And if you have time, you can look at page 8 and learn our next chord. Otherwise, keep practicing that C chord, practice it together. Again, if you're with a partner, you should be looking at your partner's fingers when it's not your turn to play. Make sure they got the fingers in the right spot. Make sure all the strings are sounding the correct note. And I will see you guys next week. Have fun.